Ahoy! I didn't see you there. Welcome to today's D&D Beyond Dev Update, hosted by me, Steve Harrington, aka Mellie Doucette. Welcome everybody. If you have never been to one of these before, if you don't know what D&D Beyond is, you don't know what a Dev Update is, D&D Beyond is a digital tool set for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition rules. Hey, we believe that everybody should be playing D&D, and D&D Beyond makes it really easy. It's a tool set that can just kind of keeps it simple for DMs and players alike. Uh, and as well, um, the dev update is where we update you on everything that is coming up, everything that we've recently released, and we also give you a chance to ask some questions from the devs themselves. So let's go ahead and run through what we've got going on today. We've got our little roadmap check-in that we do every single week, and then we've got an encounters Q&A with Senior Product Manager Andrew Searles. This is your opportunity to ask some questions about the upcoming upgrade to encounters. So go ahead and throw those into chat. Start it with the word question and follow it with your question, and we will answer as many of them as we can. But let me, before we bring Andrew on, go over our roadmap. So right now, as many of you probably already know, containers and inventory management is available on D&D Beyond. If you've ever wanted to fill up your character's inventory with a ton of different bags, or you want to have a cart, or you want to have a tower somewhere and put some inventory in those places, you can do that now. Hey, if you want to have a Halloween game where you're doing some trick or treating and maybe you need a trick or treat bag of holding, it's a great opportunity to use that. You can play around with it, you can rename containers, you can do a lot of fun things with it, and there's more upgrades coming as time continues. As well, we have our October subscriber perks. This is your last chance to get them because we are almost at the end of the month. So if you subscribe during October, you will get these perks. They are character sheet frames. We've got a lich rib cage. We have a gelatinous cube. We have hag's hair and candy corn. They're just some wonderful frames that you can use to decorate your sheet with. I am a big fan of them, and hey, I love Halloween time. So if you want to dress up your sheet, you want to get those before they're gone. As well, we've got November perks coming up. So we're kind of getting those finished up, and I'm very excited to share a preview of that for your flavor of the month for February. Let's see. Oh my gosh, yes. So we're going for very like autumn, fall, harvesty kind of themes. You can see this beautiful art from some of your favorite D&D books. These are backdrops you can get for your character sheets. So again, if you subscribe during the month of November, so if you're already an annual subscriber, once we get these released, you're going to get those onto your accounts. Or if you're a new subscriber in November, you will get these as well. Backdrops for your character sheets to kind of spice up and theme your sheet to fit your character. I am a big fan of decorating my character sheet. I spend a lot of time getting the exact right combination of frame, backdrop, and like color theme. Do I do dark mode or do I keep it in the light mode? Is very, very important for me to have the exact right flavor for every single character that I play. So there's 4 more that you can get if you subscribe during November. I'm very excited about those. As well, while Beyond the Witchlight is on sale now, as well as Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. Those are 2 new books you can get right now. While Beyond the Witchlight is an adventure, the first official foray into the Feywild for D&D 5th edition. It is such a wild and exciting adventure. There's a lot of interesting things that it does, and a lot of really, again, just interesting paths that you can take. There's combats that are sort of like you don't have to fight anything the whole adventure if your players don't want to do that. Or you can fight a lot of things. It really depends on your groups. There's lots of options presented in that book. It's really, really fun. As well, Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, the latest source book. If you like dungeons and you want more dragons, this is full of dragons. There's a bunch of new kinds of gem dragons. There's, oh my gosh, if you look at the Elder Brain Dragon, if you want something very creepy and horrifying for your weekend Halloween games, Elder Brain Dragon is a pretty tempting choice. So go ahead and check both of those out in our marketplace right now, as well available for pre-order because there's just so many books and so much cool content. Strixhaven, A Curriculum of Chaos is available for pre-order right now. That is going to be a source book for the Magic the Gathering setting of Strixhaven. So if you want to do a magic school kind of approach to a game, this is going to be an amazing source book for you. And as well, anytime you pre-order with D&D Beyond, you will also be getting some pre-order bonuses, some dice, backdrops, frames, and those come out when the book does. So you want to get that pre-order before you miss out on those bonuses. Also available for pre-order, Critical Role, Call of the Netherdeep. It is the first official adventure in the world of Exandria from Critical Role, so you can go ahead and check that out as well. Amazing contributors working on that book. Some really cool things, and as well, I believe like some tie-ins to the current campaign 3 that they're running on Critical Role right now. So some really exciting stuff you can get in that book. Pre-order bonuses as well. Of course, we love doing pre-order bonuses. So check out all of those books on the marketplace. There's so many options. And then, hey, some other stuff that we had released recently: containers on the mobile app. So we've got them on your web character sheet. You can also now get them on your mobile app character sheet. As well, we've got mobile app campaign view, which is the ability to be able to see at a glance, like, hey, I'm a DM running this campaign. I can see all the characters in that campaign. I can see their AC, their passive perception, the conditions that they have on them. It is so great. It is the thing I really wanted and needed. I'm very excited about it. I hope you are as well. So go and check that out. If you're a DM and you've got your campaign set up on D&D Beyond, hop into that mobile app and check out that update and see, hey, I can just kind of keep my like tablet or phone off to the side here and I can see all that information for those characters just at a glance. Coming soon, though, subscription management improvements. This isn't a glamorous thing, but it is something that is great quality of life. I've kind of worked to the support side and the community side and lots of sides of D&D Beyond, and subscription management is going to be one of those things that's going to be an excellent quality of life thing for a lot of people. So I'm very excited about that personally. We also have character sheet decor management. This is going to be previewed this back in August. And this is where, an easier way to update the look of your character sheet. You can change the name of your character right on the sheet instead of going back into the builder. So just some ease of use options coming there. As well, we've got shared inventory coming. So this is that ability to, hey, we can have inventory that I can give to somebody else, that we can have, a party pile of stuff. There's lots of options coming for you there. You can get rid of that extra character you have in the campaign that currently just holds all of the stuff. And you can now kind of have a system that will cover that for you. So that's very exciting stuff coming. We have a new YouTube series coming. We'll have more information on that really, really soon. I think keep an eye on Twitter next week for some really exciting things there. And finally, the thing that we're here to talk about today, encounters. I'm very excited about this encounters. This is, an upgrade, and we're going to talk about that a lot more with Andrew Searles. So once again, if you have questions about encounters, today is the day to ask about it. Go ahead, pop it into chat with the word question, followed by your question. We will get to as many as we can. With all of that said, I think it is time to bring on our wonderful, prestigious guest, Andrew Searles. Andrew,
Hello.
hello, welcome. You look absolutely
How
delightful.
well, so do you. My name is Fiona Duncan
Oh, excellent.
or
Fiona
Andrew
Duncan and
Searles.
Steve Harrington. Fiona, can you give us a little bit of lowdown on what Encounters is, to just give everybody an idea of what we're talking about today?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I'm really excited about pushing encounters forward. For those longtime followers, you'll know that we've had encounters out for a long time, and this is a momentous occasion in that you will be able to track your initiative on a free account. And as soon as we get that out, which we won't give you a date, but it's coming very soon, I promise. That's why I'm talking about it. Um, all the free users, all the free DMs out there will be able to track their encounters as well as building them. So it's everything that all of our subscribers have had access to. It will now be available to the public, and it is it's sort of a the next step, if you will.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I mean, being able to see your characters in that campaign tracker have their initiative pulled in and then be able to see, hey, what's their current hit points is
Mhm.
really helpful, for, if you're deciding as a DM, like, "Hey, when it's this monster's turn, I can purposefully target somebody who either, hasn't taken any hits. Okay, let's see what we can do about that. Or somebody who, like, this is gonna be a dramatic moment of going after this person who's having a
Yeah.
hard time. Like, let's make this exciting and dramatic
Yeah.
instead of an accident. I
Yeah.
have an experience in the past where I did not know somebody was very low hit points. I thought they were doing fine. So I was like, I'm gonna go and attack them, and oh no, I unfortunately did massive damage, and it was very sad, and it was I wouldn't have that problem with this tool set, so I'm very excited about that.
Well, that's
We're
true,
gonna take
unless you
some
wanted to
questions.
do that, of course.
Yes, if you wanted to, that gives you that power as the DM to kinda make an educated decision on how do you want to run your campaign, without having to, track on a sheet of paper, like, try to keep, you know, following up with all of these details about your characters. You can kinda just see it and not have to worry so much about all of that. So this is the same idea of, hey, D&D Beyond makes it easy. We wanna simplify things for everybody. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna take a look and see what we have for some questions here. Let's see. Looking for encounters. We have Mick underscore V2. Any possibility of adding a button to the monster stat page, such as an add to encounter? That idea of looking through monsters for ideas and saving time, just quickly throw something into an encounter from browsing monsters.
Yes, that's an interesting question, and I love the direction that this goes, because it does something that I've been wanting to do for a long time on D&D Beyond, and that is starting to incorporate reference into actually playing tools. Because for a lot of people, those two things are similar acts. They don't separate them. When I plan an adventure, I'm not separating on this is a reference tool and this is the actual tool that I'm going to use to plan, and then this is right. It's all one. I would love, for example, to sort of extrapolate and continue on that theme. I would love to be able to use the spells page in order to like reference spells, find a spell that I want to cast, understand what it does, and then cast it or add it to my character sheet or something like that. Those are all things I
Yeah.
think that a larger page like that has great potential to show more information and allow you to search them better. And connecting those to our tools just makes it all of our tools sort of work together. It is something
Yeah,
that I
and
would
that's sort
love
of
to
our
do.
long-term
Um,
goals, right? Of just unifying all of these things and making it into one, here's this simple thing, it's a package deal, it does all of these things, and that's that long-term plan of let's bring it all together.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think you'll see that come together as we move forward into the new year.
Yeah, excellent. We've got from Nikorion or Nikorion. With the encounter tracker update, is there going to be a better way to track active status effects, either known or unknown to the players? I think by status effects, they may mean conditions.
Yeah, I love this last part of this question, known or unknown. One of the coolest things about D&D is that there is a pretty big aspect of like, is this a something that the character should know or not should know, and do I want to keep this a secret? How do I want that to be revealed to them? Um, for example, I often do that with something like lycanthropy, where it's like the player might have a suspicion of it, but won't know until that first actual transformation. So, uh, having some sort of a indicator on the character sheet and a indicator even in the combat tracker, maybe not for lycanthropy, but for say cursed or something like that, would be really great. One of the first things that we're going to have to do is start working on the character sheet to try to better support a lot of those effects, and then pulling those over into the combat tracker can be a part of that. One thing that I do want to mention is now that we have the status, the stats, passive perception, AC, hit points, and what was that last one? Let me look real quick. Ooh, speed. That's right. Um, we can start. This proves out a connection to the character sheet. It's one of the reasons why this took so long. You all are probably asking yourselves like, what have you been doing this whole time? Well, a lot of things, honestly. But one of the reasons why this took so long is because that connection to the character sheet is something that is only really new to D&D Beyond this year, and that is using that game log, which from the back end for those developers out there, we're using a message broker to be able to send and receive messages between different parts of our site. so that that way they can update instantaneously. That connection is just now being established, and it leaves open the gateway to being able to do things like this into the future. So yes, that is something that we want to try to try to start handling. We would handle these a little differently than we do just normal stats, like hit points and speed and AC, because a lot of these conditions will have timers, and we'll want to actually put them in the initiative order and allow them to
Yeah.
kind of count down as you go. So it's a little bit more
Yeah, exactly.
UI
It's like
work
when, hey,
than
I cast a spell that lasts for 10 rounds. Currently, I just set up a little D10 and I, count it down every turn. But having the ability to be able to track that in D&D Beyond where I've cast it, we know where I am in the round because we have the encounter tracker that's going. It knows, cool, I know to count this. You're concentrating until you break it or until these number of rounds passes. Like that is going to be
yep,
like the dream. It's going to be amazing. These are like steps to get there.
yep.
We have from Addison 13. Will we be getting a way to add monsters mid combat, especially when my players just destroy the encounter that I pre built? Relatable. Relatable, Addison.
Yeah, and I think, this one is specifically talking about a monster that has it is attached to a stat block, because at the moment, you can add a combatant, which allows you to have sort of like a designated area that says like a word choice, and then their initiative in the order that it happens. And so it's just a visual reminder. But I think the heart of your question is like, I want to actually add a monster into the combat so that I can now see their stat block and roll with them as I go. I do this a lot, honestly, especially where a combat is not going long enough because I want it to feel more epic. So I'll just add more, or introduce another
Yeah,
piece
or when
of
you
it.
want those surprise reveals of like, oh, you
Mhm,
thought this
mhm.
was this really simple thing, but oh no, here comes the big bad. Surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely needed, and um, we have wanted to, and in fact, we've had it on our roadmap for a while. And when I say roadmap, I don't mean like a year from now. I mean we were planning on building it very soon. But your eyes get a little big sometimes, and you don't realize how long something might take, and um, things get away with you. So we want to get to the releasing this to beta, and I think eventually you will see that you'll be able to easily add a monster with a stat block into your combat fairly easily. So
Nice. I love it. Let's see. We've got from camouflage underscore rocker. Uh, what is the chance that we get campaign encounters, combat tracker, etc., available on the mobile app?
a very good chance. My good friend David, who came on a couple weeks ago, is in a constant mission of keeping the mobile app in parity with the website, and even he's even sort of challenged us and said, "What can we do that's more than what the web app is doing?" And I really super appreciate that. There is a few things that have to happen before we can start doing those kind of things in the mobile app. And that transition, I think you're seeing. For example, they now have campaigns on there, so you can see the campaigns that you have, and you can also see a sort of a summary list of your characters. Super jealous of that on the mobile app. Would love to have that on the website. But in order to start getting there, getting to the point where they can have more and more of the DM tools on it, we kind of need a foundation for it to start with, and that's it. That's the foundation for it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
all that to say, yes, we do want to make the mobile app not just a player tool, but also a DM tool as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We want that to be a thing that, like, hey, you don't have any internet connection at this convention that you're at. That's no problem because you have your encounters right there on your phone. You can run them right there on your phone. It's gonna be great. Yeah, I'm very, very excited for all that. And that is just a big part of everything that we're doing. Every little piece, sometimes it doesn't seem very glamorous, the stuff that is coming out, but it's all, those steps that are leading up to those really cool, really big things like, hey, encounters going into beta for everybody to access, which I just, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Let's see. We've got from CG Guajardo. Uh, is there an ability planned or, some kind of way for people to just be able to say, there's an encounter in this adventure and I want to just pull that into my encounters so that I can run it?
Yes. Um, yes. So add the whole encounter from the adventure module. Um, yes, what I can say there, we call that official encounters. So these are not just encounter that you might build or have to recreate from the book, but these are um, ones that we have made just like we've made a monster, um, and now are available to you. There's some intricacies here because we want to ensure that the base encounter stays unchanged, but each person can change it themselves without changing it for everybody. So there's a little bit of back end system that needs to get put in place here. But I would say for this one specifically, we are a lot closer than you might think um, to being able to
Ooh,
do this one.
that is really, really exciting. Because I definitely know from the adventure modules I've run, I'm like, I use the encounters tool, absolutely. And I'm like, man, I wish I didn't have to like pull this in myself because I can read it here. I wish I could just make it happen. So
Hmm.
that's really, really
Yeah.
exciting. I'm so pumped. Let's see. EMT Man is asking, will we have the ability to add, NPCs or friendly creatures into an encounter that are fighting with the party and not listed as an opponent? Maybe calculated into that encounter difficulty as
Mm,
something
mm.
that is making it less difficult.
Yeah, yeah, and this is a sort of a multi step question. I think that I love the idea that DMs, because I do this too, um, are creating characters that are not actually player characters, um, and adding them in order to track them and keep them sort of close at hand. I want to start challenging the idea that um, a character attached to a campaign is always in the party and always a player character. That's not always the case. In fact, we see a lot of characters that are added to campaigns that are actually owned by the DM, and we can only assume that those are characters that the DM is wanting to track in a more substantial way than just through a monster stat block. And one thing that I would love to be able to do is on the actual campaign, start organizing those individuals so that you could say, sort of, and I'll use Critical Role as an example. You could actually make a group that says Vox Machina, and you can add all the members of Vox Machina there. Then you could, right below that, you could add, like, this is the Taldoric Council, and you could add a bunch of characters to the Taldoric Council, and be able to see those. And then another group, and some other group within there. And that way we can add a bunch of different characters to a campaign, all owned by the DM, that are just people we're trying to keep tabs on. And then if we had groups of those in the campaign, we could then pull those into an encounter and say, this is an encounter with Vox Machina and a couple of others as the the protagonist side, and then we have the antagonist side of, here's a couple of monsters I'm going to add in. I would love to be able to sort of uh, use those sort of groups to be able to quickly add from one side to the other, or um, that sort of thing. um,
Yeah, I love
it,
that.
it
And the
would
idea
solve
of
quite a lot of
grouping,
problems
that
all at
just
once.
let me just say what is coming in from the chat and some of the questions we have outstanding here right now is, hey, if we're talking about grouping, does that mean folders?
Folders. That means folders. Um, yeah, so folders for encounters, and all over the site. Honestly, we get feedback a lot. I can go into every uh, tool that we track feedback for, and I can see, oh, I want folders. I want folders for this, and I want folders for this. I want
Yeah.
folders for this. I have a hypothesis, and I would love for somebody to sort of, if you go onto our feedback form, you can see a link to my calendar, and schedule a user interview with me. And I would love for somebody to do just that. And I would love to talk about how you would want to use your folders, because my hypothesis is that we actually group quite a few things around a campaign. And what we could do is, instead of like making a folder system, is actually allow you to attach and group and view more things by campaign, and that would sort of help solve the problem. For example, with encounters, if you had a list of all your encounters attached to a campaign on the actual campaign, um, I think that would help you organize those encounters immensely. I know it wouldn't be for me, because the way I normally do it is have a campaign name at the beginning of the title, and then I search and I see all of those for that campaign. Um, because I just
Yeah,
want
I
to,
think being able
these are the
to, like,
encounters that
yeah,
I'm
like,
running.
break things down more inside that campaign, 'cause I'm thinking about how I put them, and it's like I put, like, the campaign name, and then I put, like, I give them, like, number and letter designations, so I'm like, "Oh, yeah, this is for,
Yeah.
like, that location," and it's, like, this opening part of it, so it's, like, all, like, designated. Being able to just be like, "No, no, no, this is just the name of the encounter," and I can just slide it into this folder that's, like, you know, the
Mhm,
Cragmaw hideout. This is all going in that folder, and then this one is all going to, like, "Hey, this is the road to
mhm,
Phandalin." Like, all these different things, I think would
mhm.
just be, like, super, super cool.
Yep.
Um,
You group them by
let's
map, group them
do
by
Yeah.
type. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, grouping by map would be really, really cool. Let's see. Got EMT Man loves that things like encounters are becoming available for everybody, but hey, makes the subscription feel a little bit less useful. Andrew, do we have like
Mm.
some other things planned for subscribers or certain things that will be benefits to subscribers as things move out of alpha and into beta?
Yeah, it was never the plan that the encounter tracker, which we'll now call sort of all encounters, since they're all sort of in the same vein. Um, it was never planned that encounters would ever stay as a subscriber only feature. Um, we want everybody to be able to access those and be able to play those. As you all hear often, D&D is for everyone, and D&D Beyond makes it easy. We want you to be able to play. Um, the the value of subscribing in our minds is you get enhanced play, right? So you can play the game at free level, and at a higher subscription, it is enhanced and makes it easier, even easier than it does at the sort of free level. Um, I do believe that there will be more things that will make it valuable for a subscriber to be a subscriber, at the end of the day. There will be more things coming down the line. In fact, I know exactly what those things are, but um, it is always the idea that the subscriber has early access to those, and in this case, it means that the subscriber has had early access to them for almost a year and a half, maybe, um, which is pretty incredible. um, there will be more features, more big features
Yeah.
coming down the road that the subscribers will have early access to.
Yeah, it's all about kind of that map, that upcoming roadmap of there's lots of things coming, and definitely we want to make sure that our subscribers are feeling like, hey, I'm a subscriber, I'm supporting DDB, I'm supporting this level of development, and these are really cool things that are coming, and there's going to be a benefit associated with that. So things to look forward to as this ends up moving out of that alpha into beta. Um, just a lot of exciting things generally coming. Andrew, is there
But
anything else about encounters that you wish that you had gotten to answer or talk about today?
um, there are so many things about encounters that I do want to talk about. That that As far as plans and what we've got coming down the road, I think that encounters is just the start of what we're doing, and it will be a. Um, we hope to make generally running combat easier and easier in the future, as we move forward.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me, Andrew. Thank you, everybody, for watching today. Hope that you have a wonderful Halloween week, that you get some spooky gaming in. If you don't have a game to play in this weekend, you really want one, check out our Discord. They're always looking for people to play with. You might be able to find something really fun for this weekend. And whatever you do, and make sure that you do it safe, and spread that joy and that happiness around. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you later. Bye, everybody.
It's D&D.